Let's take a look at the hypothesis test that pairs with the one mean z interval that we just finished looking at. So since this is a hypothesis test, we're going to use the phantoms framework to help us make sure we understand what all the pieces are. And just like with the interval we just finished, there's only a couple changes from what we originally learned in chapter 17. So the P is still the parameter statement. It's some sort of statement about the alternate hypothesis. H is your hypotheses, the null and the alternative, and they're going to look just like they did when you did them in chapter 17. So it'll be mu equals, and then mu is either less than, greater than, or not equal to. Your assumptions and conditions. So here's where your first change is. The first two conditions are the same, random sample and normal large. And then the one that changed with these T1s is that you need the sample standard deviation. So since we have the sample standard deviation, that tells us we're doing a one mean T as in tiger test. Our test statistic has changed a little bit. So if you remember in chapter 17, our test statistic was Z as in zebra equals, and that matches the name of the distribution. So we were using a Z, a normal distribution, and now we're using a T. And so our test statistic needs to match that. So it'll be T is equal to X bar minus mu, and then it's S over the square root of n rather than sigma over the square root of n. So one little change there. O is still obtain the p-value, and you'll do this in Excel. There's a spreadsheet set up for it, and that spreadsheet will account for those differences in the sample sizes. So remember that difference in the sample size changes how much probability is in the tails. And so that's why we have the degrees of freedom, which is that n minus 1. And so the spreadsheet will account for all of that and give you your p-values. And then M for make a decision. So as always, if P is smaller than alpha, we do reject. And if P is greater than alpha, we do not reject. And then our conclusion is also going to be in that same flavor. So with a p-value of 0.04 at the 5% significance level, we either do or do not, depending on what you decided in the M of make a decision. So we do have evidence the mean height of Western students is greater than 60 inches. All right, so hopefully that'll be a nice overview. We'll go through the first one together, so come back in the next video for that.